Hello dear students, welcome to this lecture on human rights. I am delighted to have you all here as we discuss a topic that represents one of the most powerful moral and legal concepts that human society has created, human rights. Human rights are not merely legal texts, they represent the essence of contemporary society. Objectives of this lecture are to understand the concept and evolution of human rights, to examine the principles of human rights, to grasp the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and its significance in promoting equality, dignity and freedom, to understand the protection and promotion of human rights in contemporary society and emerging challenges. Dear students, let us start with the Objective 1, Concept and Evolution of Human Rights. Human rights are based on the fundamental belief that every individual possesses inherent dignity and worth simply by being human. These rights are universal, inalienable, and indivisible, and they do not depend on nationality, gender, religion, class, or culture. Human rights aim to protect individuals from abuse of power, ensure equality before the law, and enable people to live with freedom, security, and self-respect. The idea of human rights has evolved over centuries. Early foundations can be traced to ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia, India, China, and Greece, where concepts of justice, moral duty, and ethical responsibility were discussed, though often limited to certain groups. The medieval period marked a significant development with the Magna Carta 1215, which established the principle that rulers are subject to the law. During the Enlightenment, thinkers like John Locke emphasized natural rights such as life, liberty, and property. These ideas influenced major political movements, including the American and French revolutions, which promoted freedom and equality, though many groups remained excluded. The 19th and early 20th centuries expanded the scope of rights to include social and economic concerns, particularly in response to industrialization and exploitation. A major turning point came after the Second World War, with the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which recognized civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights for all. Today, human rights continue to evolve, addressing issues such as gender equality, racial justice, environmental protection, and the rights of marginalized groups, reflecting changing social realities and the ongoing pursuit of dignity and justice for all. Dear students, now let us move on to objective number 2, fundamental principles of human rights. Human rights are directed by a core set of principles that delineate their significance, reach, and implementation in society. These principles guarantee that human rights are not simply theoretical notions, but actionable standards for justice, equality, and dignity. They furnish a moral and legal structure that safeguards individuals from discrimination, mistreatment, and exclusion. The principles of human rights stress that all individuals merit respect and fairness, irrespective of their background or social standing. Collectively, These principles establish the groundwork for democratic societies and inclusive social advancement. Let us discuss these principles one by one. Number one, universality. The principle of universality asserts that human rights are inherent to every person solely by virtue of being human. These rights are not constrained by nationality, gender, religion, caste, race, or economic standing. Universality dismisses the notion that certain individuals deserve fewer rights than others. It affirms that all people everywhere on the planet are entitled to the same fundamental rights and freedoms. This principle fosters global unity and a collective obligation to uphold human dignity. Number two, inalienability. Human rights are inalienable, signifying that they cannot be removed, relinquished, or assigned to others. No person can be stripped of their fundamental rights, even by the government or in times of emergency. While certain rights may be legitimately limited under particular circumstances, the essential dignity of an individual remains safeguarded. This principle guarantees that human rights are enduring and not contingent upon authority, privilege, or situation. Number third, indivisibility. The concept of indivisibility highlights that all human rights hold equal significance. Civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights cannot be isolated or prioritized in a hierarchy. The denial of one right frequently impacts the enjoyment of others. For instance, lacking access to education may hinder individuals from engaging in political activities. This principle underscores that a balanced realization of all rights is crucial for genuine human development. Number four, interdependence and interrelatedness. Human rights are interdependent and interconnected, which means the fulfillment of one right facilitates the realization of others. The freedom of expression enhances democratic involvement, while access to healthcare supports the right to life and dignity. Violations in one domain often lead to infringement in others. This principle promotes comprehensive approach to human rights protection rather than fragmented actions. Number five, equality and non-discrimination. Equality and non-discrimination are fundamental tenets of human rights. Every individual is entitled to equal protection and the same benefits of the law. Discrimination based on gender, caste, race, religion, disability, or social background constitutes a direct violation of human rights. This principle advocates for fairness and confronts systematic inequalities. It also fosters gender awareness and social inclusion by addressing power disparities in society. Number six, dignity and respect. Human dignity is central to all human rights. Every individual deserves respect regardless of their situation or choices. This principle insists that people are treated as ends in themselves, not merely as means to an end. Policies, laws, and social customs must uphold self-respect, autonomy, and individual worth. Respect for dignity enhances humane and ethical relationships within society. Number 7, participation and inclusion. The principle of participation asserts that individuals have the right to engage in decisions that influence their lives. Meaningful participation empowers individuals and fortifies democratic governance. Inclusion guarantees that marginalized and vulnerable groups are not sidelined from social, political, and economic processes. This principle acknowledges individuals as active rights holders rather than passive recipients. Number 8, accountability and rule of law. Accountability ensures that those in positions of responsibility, particularly governments and institutions, are answerable for respecting, protecting, and fulfilling human rights. Violations must be addressed through equitable legal processes. The rule of law ensures that laws are implemented fairly and justly. This principle fosters trust in institutions and curbs the misuse of power. Number 9, transparency. Transparency mandates that decisions, policies, and actions regarding human rights are open and accessible to the public. Individuals have the right to information that influences their rights and well-being. Transparent governance diminishes corruption and enhances accountability. It also empowers individuals to assert their rights effectively. Now, the next objective of this lecture is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, commonly known as UDHR. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, commonly known as UDHR, which was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948 in the aftermath of the massive human suffering caused by the Second World War. The world had witnessed extreme violence, discrimination, and denial of human dignity. In response, the UDHR emerged as a global moral commitment that every individual, simply by being human, is entitled to rights, respect, and protection. It clearly states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. The UDHR laid the foundation for modern human rights laws and has inspired constitutions and legal frameworks across the world. The UDHR strongly asserts that all individuals are equal without discrimination based on race, religion, gender, nationality, or social status. This principle challenges long-standing systems of inequality and exclusion. By affirming equal rights for all, the UDHR has encouraged nations to adapt anti-discrimination laws, equal pay policies, and equal access to education and employment. Equality under the UDHR not only ensures justice but also affirms the value of every individual contributing to social harmony and progress. The UDHR places human dignity at its core. It emphasizes that dignity is inherent and cannot be taken away by any authority. Many human rights violations occur when people are treated as inferior or expendable. The UDHR counters this by affirming that every individual deserves respect and humane treatment. It particularly highlights the protection of vulnerable groups such as the poor, persons with disabilities, refugees, and minorities, making dignity a central pillar of social justice. The UDHR guarantees essential freedoms such as freedom of expression, belief, movement, and freedom from fear and violence. These freedoms enable individuals to express themselves, participate in society, and live without oppression. The Declaration also stresses the right to live in safety and security, which is especially significant in conflict-affected regions. By protecting freedom, the UDHR supports democratic values and human development. In this way, the UDHR plays a crucial role in advancing, making it a cornerstone of social justice and inclusive development. Now, coming to the objective number 4, protection and promotion of human rights in contemporary society. Human rights are not merely legal texts. They represent the essence of contemporary society. They define our value, uphold our dignity, and grant us the liberty to live without fear. In today's world, where technology connects us in an instant, yet also creates deep divides, safeguarding and advancing human rights has become increasingly critical. Modern society is confronted with new challenges such as digital surveillance, misinformation, climate crisis, and growing inequality. Despite these dangers, human rights remain our most powerful instrument for creating a just, peaceful, and inclusive world. Human rights can be protected and promoted by understanding its importance, such as: number 1, human rights form the bedrock of human existence and dignity. Number 2, they are universal, meaning they are inherent to every individual, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or social standing. Number 3, historically, human rights were frequently overlooked, denied, or restricted to specific groups. However, today, people worldwide are advocating for equality, justice, and respect. Number 4, in modern society, human rights transcend mere moral principles. They are a tangible reality. Number 5, they influence laws, inspire social movements, and steer governments. Number 6, they are the reason individuals can speak freely, practice their religion, access education, and receive equitable treatment in legal matters. Number 7, human rights are not a privilege, they are an essential need. Now let us talk about national legislation and constitutions. Numerous nations have enshrined human rights within their constitutions. Laws aimed at preventing discrimination, torture, and enslavement is designed to protect individuals. Judicial systems are crucial in delivering justice and holding offenders accountable. Global institutions. The United Nations and other international entities oversee human rights across the globe. They advocate for universal standards and hold nations responsible for their actions. These organizations create avenues for victims to voice their experiences and pursue justice. Human rights advocacy. Activists and grassroots movements are pivotal in the defense of human rights. They raise awareness, confront injustice, and lend support to those affected. From demonstrations to digital campaigns, advocates strive for equality, liberty, and justice. Media and civil society. Independent media and civil society groups are essential in defending human rights. They uncover corruption, report on human rights violations, and inform the public about their entitlements. A society that prioritizes human rights fosters open dialogue and accountability. Now, the last objective of this module, emerging challenges. While the world has made significant progress in recognizing and protecting human rights, new and complex threats are continuously emerging. These contemporary challenges demand innovative, responsible, and collective solutions to ensure that human dignity, equality, and freedom are not compromised. The internet has transformed our lives by connecting the world and expanding access to information. However, it has also created serious concerns related to privacy and personal freedom. Governments and corporations collect vast amounts of personal data, often without clear consent. When individuals feel constantly monitored, their freedom of expression and independent thinking may be restricted. Protecting human rights in the digital age therefore requires safeguarding privacy and data security. In today's digital era, false information spreads faster than truth. Fake news can mislead people, damage reputations, and even incite violence. Human rights include the right to accurate information and freedom of thought. Ensuring these rights means promoting media literacy, responsible communication, and access to reliable information. Economic inequality is increasing across the globe. While a small section of society continues to accumulate wealth, millions struggle to meet basic needs. This imbalance restricts access to essential human rights such as education, healthcare, employment, and housing. Addressing inequality is therefore crucial for the meaningful realization of human rights. Climate change is not only an environmental issue but also a human rights concern. Natural disasters, loss of livelihoods, and food insecurity deprive people of their rights to life, shelter, and survival. Vulnerable populations suffer the most. Protecting human rights today requires protecting the environment and promoting sustainable development. Finally, it is important to remember that every individual has a role to play. We can contribute by respecting the dignity of others, speaking out against injustice, supporting marginalized communities, engaging in voluntary service, and educating ourselves and others. When individuals act together, the protection and strength of human rights are greatly enhanced. Human rights are the foundation of a just, fair, and equitable society. They are rooted in the belief that every individual has intrinsic dignity and worth, regardless of religion, gender, nationality, or social status. These rights are universal and inalienable. They cannot be taken away even in times of crisis. The journey of human rights reflects humanity's enduring struggle for justice and dignity, from ancient societies to modern democratic frameworks. The adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights marked a historic milestone, committing the world to protect human dignity and equality. Human rights are interconnected. Civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights are all equally important. Values like equality, non-discrimination, participation, and accountability guide their protection. In today's world, emerging challenges such as digital surveillance, misinformation, inequality, and climate change test our commitment to these rights. Yet, human rights remain the most powerful tool to foster justice, peace, and equality. Their protection depends not only on laws and institutions, but also on by respecting others, speaking against injustice, and supporting vulnerable communities. Their protection depends not only on laws and institutions, but also on by respecting others, speaking against injustice, and supporting vulnerable communities. When human rights are upheld, societies become more inclusive, compassionate, and peaceful, allowing everyone to live with freedom, dignity, and respect. This was all about today's lecture. Thank you and see you in the next session.